Good morning, organizers and my fellow participants. I would like to start my video by thanking the Media Department of Christ deemed to be University for providing me this space to showcase my research on this topic. Now, I would like to share my screen. I hope that my PPT is visible to all of you. The topic of my presentation is the coal-eyed villains, Muslims as others in contemporary media. Media has been the dominant form of soft power and influence since the 20th century. The information shared by the media or the image portrayed on the celluloid leave a mark on its consumers and help in distorting or developing certain cultural stereotypes. Therefore, they have a power to inform, educate, and accelerate the society towards a radical change through the medium of art and entertainment. However, at the same time, they also have the ability to disintegrate and divide the society. My study is based on the Bollywood movies that were produced from 2012 to 2020, such as Karan Malhotra directed Agnipath, produced in 2012, Rahul Dholakia's Rais, produced in 2017, Ali Abbas Zafar's Tiger Zinda Hai, produced in 2017, Abhishek Varman's Kalank, produced in 2019, and the very recent Tanaji, the Unsung Warrior, directed by Om Roth in 2020. Further, I have also analyzed various privately owned media channels such as India TV, R Bharat, and Z News. What are my research objectives? By critically analyzing these sources, the paper attempts to contest the misrepresentation of the Muslims in contemporary movies and argues that such projection of Muslims lead to a formation of Islamophobic stereotypes and further othering of the Muslims. The paper also aims to gain an understanding of how the othering of Muslims is propagated through state sponsored media houses. At last, the paper discusses the need for media literacy in such a scenario. I have analyzed my primary sources on the basis of plotline, character portrayal, songs, and themes. Talking about the plot line of these movies is fabricated in a way to instigate the image of Muslims as fearful, angry tyrants, terrorists, and corrupt people who would do anything for money. For instance, in Agnipath, even though Rauf Lala is not the real villain in the story, he is still portrayed in a darker light than Kancha China. The movie Rais is set in Gujarat, yet focuses mostly on Muslim areas, markets, and even when the action changes to Mumbai, we are taken to meat houses during Eid and then to a mosque. The only festivals that are celebrated throughout the movie are Eid and Muharram. The plot in Tiger Zinda Hai is focused on Indian raw agents, Indian government, and Indian media, and how they further help in saving the nurses. Although there are 15 Pakistani nurses as well who are stuck with the other 35 Indian nurses, there is no projection of how Pakistani news channels or Pakistani government reacted to this news. In Kalang, Muslims are shown as the one who wanted partition and as the supporters of Awami League. They are often captured as making swords or planning to shoo away Hindus from Hosnabad. In Tanaji, the unsung warrior, from the starting itself, Muslims are shown as the Gunegar on the land who play the shrewd politics of divide and rule among Hindus and are portrayed as being intolerant towards the Hindu religion. Talking about the character portrayal in all these movies, Muslim characters are portrayed with the usual Muslim stereotypes such as wearing kohl, Patani clothes, a Muslim cap, wearing a taweez, and saying adab or salam alaikum. Apart from this, they are also shown as being involved in some illegal business, such as Rauf Lala is a dalal, a mafia, and is also linked to various gang wars in Mumbai. Even though the intentions of Reis in the movie are very virtuous, and whatever money he earns, he spends on the upliftment of the people of his locality, he is still portrayed as a quick witted gangster, bootlegger, and terrorist whose only religion is profit making. Musa Bhai, another character from Reis who sponsors the business of Reis, is shown as the mastermind behind the Mumbai blasts, who helps in the blast by smuggling RDX with the help of Reis. In Kalang, Zafar Abdul and other Muslims of Husainabad are shown as hot-headed poor Muslims who are trying to widen the communal divide between the people of Husainabad, and are shown killing and shooing Hindus away from the city. In Tanaji, the unsung warrior, the central Muslim figure that is discussed in the movie is the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, who ruled over India. The image of the historical Aurangzeb is also distorted throughout the movie. He's portrayed as a foreign speaker who has an accent while speaking Hindi, and is constantly playing the politics of making a Hindu fight against another Hindu. Although all the movies that I have discussed in this paper focus on Muslim characters or even have Muslim characters as their protagonist in the whole movie, there are not many songs in the movies that showcase an Islamic culture. In Agnipath, there is only one Islamic song that was played titled Shah Ka Rutma. But even in that song, we could see that there is a sheer absence of Muslim women on the screen, unlike the other Hindi songs where every gender was given an equal space. In the movie Rais, the songs are Hindi language songs and mostly represent Gujarati culture rather than the Mia lifestyle of Rais. In Tigers in the Head, just like the screen space, the songs too do not focus on Zoya at all. They are mostly hero centric, as seen to be sung by the hero or celebrating the comeback of hero who is an Indian raw agent named Abinash. In Kalang, as we all know, that Dharma production movies are prominently known for its extravagant songs and dances, and Kalang is no different. However, there is again an absence of Urdu language songs that would specifically represent the lifestyle of people of Hiramandi, which is a Muslim majority area in Hosnabad. In Tanaji, all the songs in the movie either have a religious underlining or they highlight the sacrifice of Tanaji and Savitri Bai. So, this approach of creating such divine and beautiful songs for just one religious sect while portraying both is a way to imprint the image of Hindus and their culture as divine and righteous and help in establishing the concept of the other. Talking about the themes that are discussed in the movie, in Agnipath, Karan Malhotra's Agnipath, it deals with the theme of vengeance and revenge that Vijay Dinanath Chauhan wants to take from Kanchachina. Even though Roff is not the real villain in the story, his under the table deeds are given more space on the screen rather than Kanchachina's. Also, he is the first one to be killed by the hands of Vijay Dinanath Chauhan. In Rais, the theme of corruption and bootlegging is explored in the state of Gujarat through the Muslim character Rais and his counterpart Sadiq and the sponsor Musa Bhai. Again, in the movie, there are many other Hindu characters, for example, the Jairaj. They are also involved in this whole process of bootlegging, yet, this theme is explored by portraying or bringing forth the character of Rais or Sadiq or Musa Bhai in order to negatively portray Muslims and create the feeling of Islamophobia among the people. The movie Tigers in the Hair explores the theme of humanity, but again by portraying Islam in a negative light. They are not only shown as cold blooded terrorists, but also rapists, as gangsters, as brutal masters, and erroneous people who consider war and bloodshed as their religion. The movie Kalak presents a biased history of 1947 partition to the audience. The partition and the subsequent violence that is portrayed in the movie victimizes Hindus and rests the blame of bloodshed with the Muslims. The film ends with the reporter claiming that such stories are yet to make it to the mainstream history, which is wrong because such biased interpretations of history are just going to broaden the gap between both the communities and inculcate the feeling of hatred in the country. And Tanaji, the Unsung Warrior, which is again a historical film. But in addition to being a biased film, it also takes the creative freedom to alter the historical facts just so it could align with the current Hindutva politics of the country. The film talks about the famous war of Battle of Gondana, which happened between the Mughal and the Maratha army, but the narrative asserts that it was a religious battle. However, historical facts say that it wasn't a religious battle, but instead a battle for territory expansion. Through various interpretations, through various instances from the movie, the paper argued that these fictionalized narratives present an alternative and an ideologically charged singular narrative of various historical events, thus painting a stereotyped Islamophobia and leading to the othering of Muslims in contemporary times. However, this othering is not only limited to these fictionalized narratives, but also can be discerned in Indian news channels where the show of linguistic nationalism is carried out in primetime debates and breaking news headlines. In the process of documenting the current happenings, the media houses are fueling the communal disharmony among the citizens by misrepresenting the Muslim and the Islam as the enemy or the terrorist as a whole, and thus leading to a systematic discrimination against Muslims. Recently, the media reports on the subject of Tablighi Jamaat created another ideologically charged narrative of hashtag COVID jihad. The trend started in March 2020 after the Tablighi Jamaat religious congregation happened in Nizamuddin Markaz Mosque and led to more than 4,000 confirmed COVID 19 cases, thus becoming a super spreader of the COVID 19 virus. The legal action has already been taken against the organizer and the attendees. Yet, and nonetheless, the media used this as an excellent opportunity to reiterate the politics of us versus them and proliferate the Islamophobia among the citizens of the country. Various news channels created fake news and visuals showing how Zamatis are trying to spread the virus and how this is a plot of Pakistan to destroy India. These headlines brainwashed the audience into hating the whole Muslim community, and shortly after this, various WhatsApp forwards on how we should all collectively ban these terrorists and enemies of the countries started circulating. Many politicians openly asked citizens to not buy anything from Muslim sellers. Muslims were attacked throughout the country, and in certain places, they were even denied entry to hospitals. Whereas in other states, even the patients were separated on the basis of their religion. Although the media was quick to cover and propose their own judgment about this event, but media was not equally charged up when the congregation attendees who have survived COVID 19 donated their blood plasma. Apart from this, numerous mosques have also been converted into COVID quarantine centers, but this news was not made the headline or a part of the primetime debates. In my conclusion, I would only like to say that, even after 73 years of independence, the political conflict between Hindus and Muslims have not subsided. Both the religious sects are overtly sensitive about their religion, which often leads to a situation of riots on trivial matters like a social media post, a comment, or any debate, etc. Therefore, it becomes the need of the hour that influential platforms such as media and Bollywood do not reinforce this dichotomy of us and them with communal underlining. However, because these spaces are also not free from the clutches of the political and ideological influences, the duty to stop engaging with such content rests with the audience. For this purpose, the concept of media literacy is very crucial. It is defined as the power to not only identify the information source, but also to analyze, understand, and reflect on the content or the portrayal objectively. It is only then that people will be able to make an informed and unbiased judgment without being influenced by what the media is trying to say or by what the Bollywood is trying to portray. Thank you. If there are any doubts, any questions, I am really looking forward to it to have a great discussion on this topic. Thank you all.